Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Awards Watch Emmy podcast, video podcast. Again, here we are, part two. Hi, Tyler. How are you?
Hi, Eric. Doing pretty good today. Ready to talk about these comedies. A little bit different than limited series.
Very much so. We talked about the limited series categories last time, and it was a lot of fun, really competitive. But because of the sliding scales of the Emmy rules, very different number of nominees that we're going to be talking about with comedy versus limited series. And we're going to try and get through as many categories as possible. And if we can get to guest and writing and directing, we will. But, we don't want to keep you here too long. Or do we? Maybe we do. I don't know. We'll see. Um, let's talk about comedy supporting actress. Really kind of great category. 7 possible nominees based on number of submissions and because there's parity between the supporting categories. And I almost think this is a little too easy. I feel like pretty good about, I think, 6 of my 7. And then after that, it's a little, there's not too much. So I'm going to shoot it to you. Who do you have for comedy supporting actress? Any order, doesn't matter.
In any order, I have Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso, Kate McKinnon and Cecily Strong from SNL, Hannah Einbinder from Hacks, which I can't believe that she's going supporting, but that's a whole other thing. Rosie Perez, the flight attendant, and Busy Phillips and Paula Pell from Girls 5 Eva.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, ours are different. Yay, good. I'm glad. I also have Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso and Kate McKinnon from SNL and Cecily Strong, Hannah Einbinder as well. And actually, because of the way things broke down, it's probably a really good thing that she went supporting because there's definitely room and she'll get in. She'll get in here. I have Rosie Perez as well, but I have Juno Temple getting in for Ted Lasso and Kathleen Turner for the Kaminsky Method, which is the one that I'm not feeling like super high about. So I had Paula Pell rolling around, even Zosia Mamet, but that would be kind of like a weird nomination. And, then I'm looking at Jane Krakowski and Dickinson. She's a multi-nominee. Wanda Sykes, even in the Upshaws. But then also Bette Midler from The Politician after she got in guest last year. I don't know. I'm not sure. Tell me about your Girls 5 Eva predictions, because I'm all over it.
Well, I just think if any Peacock show is going to get this, we'll talk about it when we get to series as well, but I think if any Peacock show is going to get this attention, it's going to be that show. And for some reason, I'm thinking that if it's going to get into comedy series, which I think it might, I think it'll get a good amount of recognition for the actors and actresses. I also have, when we get to lead actress, I'll talk about that. I have another one of them in there, but I think that at least one of them will pull it out. I'm not sure if both of them will, but I'm thinking that at least one of them can pull it out.
I would lean Paula Pell as a previous nominee and winner, and she has other things this season as well. I would love that. I would love to see that. And yeah, Tina Fey's shows have a pretty good record. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I do feel very strongly though about Juno Temple, because I think one of the things we're going to see this season is because of the reduced number of actual shows, which is strange to think about because it feels like all we did was watch TV shows in the last year. But there were fewer submissions than usual, so a lot of categories have less slots. I think we might see a whole lot of double and triple up in some of these acting categories for just a very few shows. And I mean, I think we have a pretty clear top 3 shows that are the main in the running, and we'll get to that later. But I sort of feel like that's going to be the case, and that will definitely benefit somebody like Juno Temple.
I definitely don't disagree with that. I thought about putting Juno Temple on mine, to be honest with you. So she's right there, like she's like my number 8. So
yeah, and had there been 8, there you go.
Yeah, seriously. I think that the Ted Lasso crew is going to do exceptionally well at the Emmys this year, and they'll probably be the ones to get these multiple nominees in these categories.
Yes. And speaking of, let's go to supporting actor in a comedy series, and I'll go ahead and go first because that goes right into what we were just saying. We have 7 spots here, and I am predicting 3 Ted Lasso actors to get in: Brett Goldstein, Brendan Hunt, and Nick Mohammed. I think Goldstein and Hunt are absolutely in. Mohammed makes a lot of sense, and he's just goddamn funny. I then have Kenan Thompson for SNL, pretty easy there. Bowen Yang for SNL as well. I think he will have his breakthrough. And the last 2 is where I think there's a tremendous amount of room. I have Alex Newell for Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, canceled or not, and Michael Huisman for The Flight Attendant, which is a weird nomination because there's very little that's actually funny about his performance. I don't know.
We only differ on one of those.
Yeah.
So the only difference on yours is Michael Huisman. I don't have him. I have Ray Romano for Made for Love.
Yeah. You know, I look at here's my predictions, and then here's my then and maybes. Ray Romano, Pete Davidson, Paul Reiser, Danny Pudi, Lawrence Fishburne. And it's great. It's going to be all new people because the only returning nominee from last year is Kenan Thompson. This isn't actually a huge category for SNL, the way that it is for like guest actor and for supporting actress. They've only gotten in 4 times. It's pretty low.
Wow.
So to get Bowen Yang or Pete Davidson in would be kind of a big deal. And only one of those times did 2 guys from SNL get in the same year. So I dig the Ray Romano prediction. That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, and weirdly almost feels like the most likely from that show.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Because comedy lead actress is only 5 spots.
Yeah, that's the only prediction I have for Made for Love is Ray Romano. I had thought about Kristen Milioti, but comedy actress is just too much.
Yeah, I mean, almost even if it was 7, it's still incredibly competitive there.
Yeah, it'd be difficult to get in no matter what.
I think so. Can you see any more outliers other than the ones that I mentioned? Danny Pudi, Pete Davidson, Paul Reiser, Lawrence Fishburne, maybe somebody else?
I can't really think of anybody else in this category off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about Bowen Yang in this category. I think he has a really good shot of getting nominated, even with Kenan Thompson, because I think Kenan Thompson is kind of a lot for this category.
Oh, he's probably going to win.
I'm thinking Kenan Thompson might be a double nominee at the Emmys this year, to be honest.
It's absolutely possible / going to happen. Yeah.
No, he might finally win his Emmy, so we will see. I don't know. I think another one that I thought was an outlier for a while, but I think is gaining steam is Alex Newell from Zoe's. I think I would love to see them be nominated in this category. They do an exceptional job on that show. I hate to see it canceled.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll find itself another home, but we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I have all 3 Ted Lasso guys just like you do. I think it took me a second to make that decision, but because I didn't feel comfortable putting 3 people from one show into a single category, but it looks like that's what's going to happen.
That's happened in the era of when there were only 5 spots, period. in drama, like, you know, LA Law, Hill Street Blues, West Wing, that used to happen quite a bit when there was a show that had just absolutely dominated the conversation. And I don't think anything really has quite the way that Ted Lasso has. Yeah. Let's jump over to lead actor, since we were just talking about Kenan Thompson, and I will let you kick that off. There are only 5 spots here for lead actor.
Well, let's see what we've got. Okay, so first I've got the front runner, Jason Sudeikis. I think it would be I would be remiss if I didn't mention him. I have Michael Douglas for The Kaminsky Method, Anthony Anderson for Blackish, Kenan Thompson for Kenan, and then I have for my 5th, I'm not super positive about this one. I kind of just started doing it, but I have Rob McElhenney from Mythic Quest.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, I have 4 of the 5 that you have. I have Ted Danson in over Rob McElhenney. And, you know, it's one of those categories where I feel pretty strong, pretty good about all except for one. And it is that last that's kind of giving me trouble, because William H. Macy last year of Shameless, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka in Cobra Kai, and then obviously Mythic Quest, which I feel almost could have made, and maybe still will, a What We Do in the Shadows type of surprise here.
That's kind of what I'm thinking and hoping for.
I think it might. I think it could. Especially
since when we get to series, we'll talk about this more, but especially since in series, only one comedy show is coming back from last year. So I think it opens up so much room for stuff like Mythic Quest. And Mythic Quest is something kind of like What We Do in the Shadows. It's a little weird. It's a little off kilter. So.
Yeah. The only thing that made me hold back was that with everything that What We Do in the Shadows got, it still wasn't able to get an acting nomination, which was really tragic and horrible, because everybody from that show deserves to get in. So maybe we'll see Mythic Quest pop up in directing, writing, and series, but not in acting yet. Although, how great would it be if, like, you know, Caitlin Olsen got in and Rob McElhenney got in? I think that would be really awesome. That'd be great.
That'd be a nice little reunion for them.
I think so. Let's dip over to comedy lead actress. We are just going through this, and I'm loving it for us. Okay, comedy lead actress, 5 spots. This is going to be absolutely brutal, because
there are 5 spots, yet I have at least 8 women written down.
Oh, I do too. I have all of my, like, here's my top 5, and here's my next. I could swap almost any of them out of there, except for, like, you know, 2. I will start this one, and I have Jean Smart in Hacks, Kaylee Cuoco, The Flight Attendant. From there is when it opens up.
Yep.
And I have Tracy Ellis Ross returning for Blackish, Jane Levy, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and Renee Elise Goldsberry for Girls 5 Eva. But it's killing me to not put Anna Konkle or Maya Erskine in. It's killing me. Yeah. And then Sarah Bareilles, who's really more the lead of Girls 5 Eva than Goldsberry is. Allison Janney, last season of Mom. I'm just like, and then I want, you know, Robin Thede in. So what are we going to do, Tyler? What do you got?
I don't know. It looks like we have pretty much the same on this one. We don't have too many discrepancies. The only difference is, instead of Renee Elise Goldsberry for number 5, I do have Maya Erskine. Because I just couldn't help myself. I have to have my Pen 15 ladies in there. I can't see this, as much as it would disappoint me, I can't see this category without both of them. And I would really love if both of them could get nominated, because that show is just so incredible to me.
Yeah, I think it had such a brilliant second season, and I think, you know, we'll give ourselves some time for writing and directing and stuff, I think, in a bit. I think the play episode and that whole arc was really, yeah, Maya Erskine absolutely just took it and ran in a way that was even so much better than the first season. So I would love for her to get in. And, you know, once we do final predictions, you know, they might be different, but oh my God. But then, yeah, how do you put her in and not Anna Konkle, who also had the divorce arc and how do you do it? How do you do that?
Just beautiful character development on that show. Just God, the second season, I cannot wait for the back half of the second season. That first season was so good. Sam Zweiman did such a good job directing all those episodes. I really hope that, I think it's the last episode, opening night. I really hope that there's a directing nomination there.
Yeah, I would really, really love that as well. Let's see. What do you think? What do you want to try and tackle? Guest or or writing and directing?
Do you want to do some writing and directing?
I think that would be great. I would really like that. Let's go to comedy writing. There's going to be 6 spots here. Okay, you go first.
Okay, so I think Hacks is going to get an M for its pilot. I think that Ted Lasso has a good chance of getting both episodes it put in, because I think it put in its pilot and episode 7, Make Rebecca Great Again.
Yes.
So I think there's a big play for both of them to make it in. I cannot remember what Pen 15 episodes were submitted.
Play and Vendi Wickney.
Okay. I can see them getting in, because the writing and directing on that show, even if the acting is great, the writing and directing on that show is just next level to me. It's just not even funny anymore how perfect it is. It's not even fair to the rest of them. And then I think, I'm not sure what I think for the last couple of spots. I think that there's a good chance that the Flight Attendant might get like one little nom just because it's been so popular.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping that Mythic Quest does. I think they submitted a couple episodes, so I'm hoping that they can pull it up and like get into the category. I tell you, I really wish this is my dream pick. I really wish that the Superstore finale would be considered a lot more and would actually make it into the comedy series writing.
Wow. Do we know who wrote it? I don't off the top of my head, because sometimes these categories can really, you know, lean to a name that people like and want in.
I want to say maybe the creator himself might have written it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that would be pretty fantastic. What Mythic Quest episode do you think would be the one to make it in?
Well, I can't remember what they've submitted. I think the season 2 premiere is really, really good. It has a lot of stuff about the 2 main characters and just their arc and how they're fighting themselves. But the whole season is kind of like that. So I'm not sure which episode I would like solely pick to like put in. And I cannot remember which ones they've put in.
They submitted a lot. They submitted 4 episodes, which is a lot. Backstory, Everlight, Please Sign Here, and Titan's Rift. I don't know if I would have gone that deep, but you know, it didn't hurt What We Do in the Shadows. It's never hurt Better Call Saul. So, you know, it could happen. Yeah, I'm going for both Ted Lasso's, the Hacks pilot, because it's all they submitted and they want that nomination. They're going to get it. The Flight Attendant, again, sole nomination. They're going to get it. And then I have Mythic Quest, Everlight, and Pen 15 Play.
I was thinking Everlight for Mythic Quest. That would be a good one because that was their specially release.
Yeah. And that was like a post-pandemic shot episode. So I feel pretty good about that. But then, you know, any other Pen 15 or Mythic Quest episodes I think would be absolutely possible here too. Yeah, or sure. You know, the Girls 5 Eva pilot.
Yeah. That would be a good one too. That's not bad.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go to directing then, which is going to look kind of similar in a lot of ways to the writing submissions, because some of them are very much the same. And in this, I'm going again, absolutely, totally deep with Ted Lasso.
Yep.
There's 6 spots here, and I think it's going to get 3.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get Biscuits, the Zach Braff directed episode, The Hope That Kills You, the finale, Make Rebecca Great Again, amazing episode. And then we're back to the Hacks pilot, The Flight Attendant, first episode. And then because of the rule about multicams, we have to get a multicam in here. And
multicams.
What's that?
What's the rule about multicams? I don't think I know that one.
Yes. This was like 3 years ago. One of the heads of the directing branch petitioned to force the nominations to include a multicam directing nomination.
Oh.
So there has to be one now every time.
Well, okay.
And it was funny because he got one the first year that happened, which was like the reason that it happened.
Oh, okay.
So with what we have eligible this year, the most obvious choice for me is the Be Positive pilot, which was directed by James Burrows. So
I haven't seen that one.
I don't even think you have to. He's, James Burrows is a television directing icon. So There you go. Oh, yes. Anyway, back to those were my predictions. Ted Lasso ×3, Hacks, Flight Attendant, Be Positive.
That would probably be the same for me. I didn't know about the that little rule, so I'll have to change mine. But other than that, that's pretty much the same for me. That's exactly what I would pick, because I think that Ted Lasso is about to dominate these comedy categories.
It's going to be crazy.
Especially since the second season is going to be airing while the Emmy stuff is going on.
Mm-hmm. I kind of love that.
That was definitely a smart choice on their part.
Yeah, we've seen that be very successful in the past. The thing that I'm thinking about, though, is that Pen 15 only submitted 1 episode in its opening night, which is a masterfully directed episode.
It is.
So I feel like I have to replace something, because obviously if we didn't have the multicam rule, that would be out.
Yeah.
And Pen 15 would be easily in. I don't know.
Do you think that Pen 15 might be able to take that spot from like the Flight Attendant?
Maybe, but pilot episodes do so well here.
They do.
But, I don't know. I mean, I hope it does. I like the Flight Attendant a lot, and it's certainly nothing against Susanna Vogel. And actually, the first episode of The Flight Attendant is just absolutely amazing. It's incredible, and the setup is wonderful. I don't know. It probably is the one that I think is the most vulnerable, though, to a Pen 15 or even Mythic Quest coming in.
Yeah, this category I think it is going to be a little bit more difficult for Mythic Quest to pull itself into.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just because there's so much more Ted Lasso just to compete with.
Yeah. I mean, we could see less than 3 Lassos get in, but we've seen in the past, whether it's like Barry or Veep or other comedies, when that's like the show, they go in deep in both writing and directing. They just do. So why
made as many times as possible?
Yeah, why deviate from that? Okay, cool. Wow, we can get to the guest categories then. This is fun. Are you ready for guest actor?
I'm gonna let you start on both of these because I don't have anything written down for the guest categories.
Okay. Well, I think we can then, if in that case, we can just kind of talk around them,
Okay.
because these are the guest categories are ones that Saturday Night Live does extremely well in, especially for actor.
Okay.
Although there are some strange, like missing, like Adele didn't submit or wasn't submitted. So there's some strange things going on. But so we have, like last year, had 3 SNL actors get in, and then Eddie Murphy won. And they have gotten in at least 2 nominations every year since 2012. So that's not changing this year. They're getting in 2 or 3 pretty easily. I'm looking at Dave Chappelle. That seems pretty easy. He's a previous winner in this category. He was the host post the first host post election. I think Regé Jean Page will get in. I think Daniel Kaluuya will get in.
Yeah.
After that, we still have Jim Carrey and Dan Levy as potential nominations. But I keep wanting to and trying to look for like the Dev Patel here from last year, because his nomination for Modern Love was like the nobody predicted kind of slot. And I need to comb through these lists a little bit more for finals, but my final 2, because there are 5 slots only here, are Anthony Head for Ted Lasso and Morgan Freeman for the Kaminsky Method. But there's a lot. Aziz Ansari, Stephen Colbert and Girls 5 Eva, Alec Baldwin could come back for SNL. There's a lot of possibilities here.
Stephen Colbert for Girls 5 Eva would be perfect.
I would love that nomination because he was absolutely hilarious.
Do you know I didn't even recognize him? I had to be told that was him. I did not even recognize him on screen.
Yeah, he was great.
So I would love a nomination for him since I could not even recognize him.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to comedy guest actors, and I will go ahead and kick this off as well. And again, like supporting actor, Saturday Night Live has gotten 2 nominations in this category since 2015. So it's probably going to happen again, or is it? Maybe. I think it will. In fact, I think it's going to get more. Last year's winner, Maya Rudolph, eligible again. Kristen Wiig, 2-time nominee for the show in this category, eligible again. So I think we're going to see an absolute SNL domination in the guest categories once again. And that's part of that is because with only 5 spots each, it's a pretty small amount of submissions. Yeah. So it almost feels like a no-brainer. So I'm looking at Maya Rudolph, Kristen Wiig, and Anya Taylor-Joy all getting in for SNL. Tina Fey for Girls 5 Eva. I don't know how, she would not get in for her Dolly Parton, which was ridiculous. And Issa Rae for Black Lady Sketch Show. That's kind of where I'm at. But there's definitely some spoilers here that could be kind of fun. Andre Anders, Ted Lasso. Again, I mean, if they're going to go for everybody else, why not here?
Yeah, seriously.
Bernadette Peters in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is a potential. Susan Sarandon, Search Party. Vanessa Williams, Girls 5 Eva. And America Ferrera, Superstore. That would be kind of a neat way to give the show something, finally.
Yeah, seriously. I would love that.
Yeah.
Especially she's only in like those last 2 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of fanfare for it.
Yeah.
And, the Emmys aren't really well known for sympathy. They do sometimes.
Yeah.
But not that often. So I'm not sure why or if that they would feel the need to here, but she is a previous winner.
Yeah, she is. You'd think that would have like helped her over the course of Superstore's run, but apparently it just didn't mean anything.
It's crazy. That show should be ending its run full of nominations and wins for its cast, which are all absolutely hilarious. But not every office comedy can hit those numbers.
Yeah,
it becomes very much about buzz and zeitgeist, and it's a show that kind of chugged along and was popular, but it wasn't internet popular in the way that other shows have been. So
yeah, it's not Ted Lasso.
It ain't Ted Lasso. It ain't Hacks.
No, it's not Hacks either.
And well, speaking of, we can go right to comedy series, which is going to be absolutely cutthroat with only 5 spots. And then we say only 5 spots, but this is how it used to be since for decades and decades. It's only been the last couple of years that we've seen, ties make it longer, or the sliding scale rules of submission-based numbers. So we got really spoiled for a couple of years with all of these categories having 6 or 7 or 8, which was always how I think any of us that do predictions, whether it's movies or television, we're always like, oh, if there was only 1 or 2 more spots, I could see this one and this one getting in, and we had it, and it kind of made predictions a little bit easier,
a little bit more fun too,
but more fun. And now here we are, back to 5, and back to making it absolutely brutal. So I'm gonna let you kick this off.
Okay. I think that we have 2 to 3 series in here that are just total locks, and those are going to be Ted Lasso, Hacks, and The Flight Attendant. I think all 3 of those. The Flight Attendant is the weakest of those 3, but I do think that will still garner a nomination no matter what. The next one I have down, I'm going to go with Blackish, and then I'm going to go with the Kaminsky Method.
Oh my God. We have the same 5.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, that means that we're looking at exactly the same other ones that are just right there.
Oh yeah, I have several down there, like right there, like Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, Mythic Quest, Dickinson, Girls 5 Eva, Made for Love, even Rutherford Falls.
Pen 15?
Yeah, Pen 15. Oh, I have that written down.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the same, and oh wow, that scares me.
That is scary.
It makes a lot of sense. We are looking at a lineup that has diversity both in its cast and its network representation, in a way that makes sense when you are a voter. It's final season of Kaminsky Method. It will be the only Netflix representation here. Yep. There's no way it's not getting in. It would be crazy if it didn't.
It would be very shocking if it didn't make it in.
Yeah.
I would be surprised.
It wouldn't make any sense at all. And the only things that each of us have that come from the same network are Hacks and The Flight Attendant. And I'd love to chat a little bit about that, because before Hacks came around, all of this attention was really around The Flight Attendant. And, it's because of the differences between Emmy eligibility and Screen Actors Guild and Golden Globe eligibility. Hacks was not a part of any of that at all. So the attention got to be about The Flight Attendant. And, it was a weekly show. It was obviously very darkly comic, and some people don't really consider it a comedy, but that's neither here nor there. So there was like this feeling like, okay, Kaylee Cuoco is going to be able to run away with this. This is easy. The Flight Attendant, tons of nominations, no problem. And Hacks came on and really kind of obliterated that in a way that I don't think anybody was expecting at all. What do you think about that?
I've thought about that for a while now, because The Flight Attendant, I've thought about it, even more than 2 months ago, that's all we were thinking about. Unless, especially for like lead actress comedy, it seemed like Kaylee Cuoco was running away with that award, and that nobody could stop her. I remember getting, I got sent like an early cut of Hacks that was like without even the title sequence. And I remember thinking like, oh no, like this is something different now. Like we're going to have to worry.
Yeah.
And as the episodes started coming on, like two in a week, it just became a little bit more clear that Jean Smart was about to steal this right underneath Kaylee Cuoco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Not just Jean Smart, who is absolutely the front runner, but the show just usurped all of that conversation. And this happens all the time. It happens in the movie side of it, but even more so in television because of those split eligibilities. You everything we're seeing this year from Mayor of Easttown or Hacks or Underground Railroad, those are all going to compete next year at Screen Actors Guild or Golden Globes, if those exist in any format. So they're not going to be competing with the Flight Attendant or whatever. And then of course Ted Lasso's second season will be competing with the first season of everybody else's. It's really messy. It's super messy. And it's why the Emmys can be more difficult to predict. They don't have proper precursors because it's not an apples to apples comparison of eligibility and nominations. But yeah, the way that Hacks came in and absolutely dominated comedy buzz, not enough to usurp Ted Lasso, which was now like a year ago, but definitely its co-network competitor. It's wild.
I think that Ted Lasso really made a smart move. I think it was yesterday they went ahead and dropped their season 2 trailer right in the middle of voting.
Yeah.
They're not confused as to what they're doing.
No, they're not. Their ad campaign is on point. And they're going deep. They're not just like picking one of the supporting actors. They're picking everybody.
Yeah.
They have everybody and ads for everybody because I think they know what kind of year it is, and they know that they can get at least 3 in. So why not? Why would you not do that?
Here we could see a few wins for Ted Lasso.
Oh, definitely. So if we have the same 5 in comedy series, you said you think The Flight Attendant is probably the weakest, right?
The weakest of the 3
those top 3. That's right. So what do you think is the weakest of your 5?
I think the weakest of the 5 is Blackish. I think the Kaminsky method has almost a lock, like we just talked about. I think the Flight Attendant, Ted Lasso, and Hacks are pretty much definitely going to be there. So I think that Blackish, especially being a network show, I think that has the biggest uphill battle. And I think that if Blackish wasn't going to be in, I think it would be vulnerable to like Pen 15.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think exactly. I do think Blackish represents. I mean, again, not only when we're looking at our casts of these 5 shows, it's the only Black cast. We're also looking at a very small resurgence in network shows on the comedy side over the last couple of years. The Good Place, kind of got itself in there. Mm-hmm. So Blackish making it in makes logical sense too. But I just think there's too many things behind it of why it can and will and should be in. But then at the same time, I agree. I think it is the most vulnerable as well.
It's definitely going to be an interesting year for these 5, just to see which 5 will make it. Like I said, I think a few of them are locked in, but those final 2 spots, it's going to be interesting who fills those out.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, at this point, as much as I, just said, I think Kaminsky, being Netflix's main and only real chance, it would be shocking to not be here. I still can't call it a lock. I can really only call Ted Lasso and Hacks a lock.
Yeah.
Everything else, there's movement. There's room. There's room for Pen 15. There's room for Girls 5 Eva. There's room for Mythic Quest. You know, the thing that might happen is Netflix does also have Cobra Kai. And there's been a lot of interviews, attention around that show, much more than I've seen for Kaminsky, even though Kaminsky falls into this perfect old voter kind of place. It would be shocking, but I could see it happen, that Kaminsky gets replaced by Cobra Kai.
That would be definitely interesting. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gutsy enough to predict that, but I think it could happen.
Do you think Cobra Kai could get into series with no other nominations?
It will get in stunt. It might get in some editing.
Yeah.
Because it benefits from being an action show in half-hour comedy categories. So maybe. Because, you know, then I think Kaminsky's going to get Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
What if it only gets Michael Douglas? It's not going to get in directing. It's not going to get in writing. It's not going to get in the editing categories. Where else is it other than being just a focal point for Netflix?
Yeah. And that might be its weakness.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That will be its weakness.
Especially for something like Pen 15, which we discussed has possibilities in multiple categories.
Yeah. It would still be pretty shocking, but we'll see. We'll see when you and I end up doing our final predictions where we end up, because I could definitely see good arguments made to make me change my top 5 right now. So, do you have any final thoughts on the comedy series categories for today, Tyler?
I think my final thoughts would be that I'm interested to see how well Ted Lasso is going to do. I know it's going to do well, but I'm interested to see just how many nominations it can get on nomination day. I'm excited to see what Hacks is going to do because I love Hacks, but I think I'm most excited to see how many nominations Pen 15 can get this year, because that second season, the first half of the second season has just been phenomenal, and I'm really ready and excited to see if they can get anything because they deserve it.
I think so too. I think we're going to see, you know, something maybe we expect to get a lot underperform, and then we will see What We Do in the Shadows somewhere, whether it's Pen 15 or Mythic Quest or Dickinson or something like that. It's just going to be like, here I am.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you for joining me, Tyler. I think we made it under an hour this time, which is pretty fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me, Eric.
Yes. So please like and subscribe, whatever, right here or right here. I don't even remember which it is. And go back and listen, watch our limited series podcast. And then we'll do drama next, probably next week. And we are in the middle of Emmy voting right now. So if you're an Emmy voter and you're watching this or listening to this, Pen 15. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. We'll see if that works.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Eric.
All right.